Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Distil-Nation NZ podcast. My name is Tom. I'm joined again by my good friend Cameron.
Woo!
And Ty as well. We're drinking some coffee as we chat about New Zealand spirits, which in this episode, we're really going to just dive in a bit to what's happening new in New Zealand spirits here in, it is April 2026. No, it's not. Is it? Yeah? Oh, good. Hey, look at that. 26. Nope. 04, 26. So there's no 26. I told you didn't have the exclusive rights to dumb, and there you go.
Let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah, it's done. Okay. So we're really lucky that we've got a couple of the new ones on the table that we get to try today. Certainly, we don't have all of them. There's just too many. And the ones that we're talking about probably are well above our budgets, unfortunately.
But if you have free samples and you'd like to send them some to us, feel free.
Contact Cameron. He'll probably get back to you faster than I will.
Okay. Just not on TikTok anymore.
Yeah, apparently not on TikTok, eh?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, you know what?
This is a good chance. So
I do.
You lost.
Do you want a dram to start you
No, I'll just stick with my... having been... Now, I know that TikTok and restricted substances like alcohol have a funny relationship and that you're not really allowed to sell. I know that I'm not the only creator that has had issues with... talking about alcohol on there. I do find it galling, though, that there are accounts that actively promote heavy drinking and they seem to be going fine. I put up a video right before St. Patrick's Day because one of my personal pet peeves is when I see a bar or somebody promoting St. Patty's Day with 2 T's because they think that the abbreviation for Patrick is Patty, when in reality Patrick is the anglicisation of the Gaelic name Padraig, P-A-D, so that's where we get Paddy from. It's Paddy's Day with D. So I just reminded people, hey, just to let you know, it's Paddy's Day with you do 2 D's as opposed to St. Patty's Day with 2 T's. Patty is short for Patricia. I don't know who she is. It's not her day.
Oh, it's St. Patricia's Day.
Yeah.
I got to have a drink.
Grab
me Guinness.
What accent was
Grab me a
that?
Guinness for me St. Patricia's Day.
What part of the Balkans are you from?
Yeah. Is there a St. Patricia?
There probably is.
There probably is. Anyway, occasionally I have had a video flagged and it says, hey, we've just flagged this. And then I will appeal it and say...
Sorry, I'm just going to cut you off and
Yep.
apologise to all our Irish listeners on behalf of here at Creek and on behalf of Tom.
I'm just not good at accents. It's not an insult.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Sorry, Kat.
Yeah. So occasionally I've had a video flagged. So I'll hit upload or submit and it'll go, hang on. And I'll hit the appeal button and say, like, I haven't broken any guidelines here. And then a couple of hours or maybe a day later, it'll get reviewed and they'll say, no, you're right. We just, And anyway, so yeah, I hit post and then I closed TikTok and I went to go log back in an hour or so later to see how things were performing, and basically told me that my account doesn't exist anymore. And I tried submitting an appeal process and they said, nope, you have violated community guidelines. And I kept saying, well, which one? Because I don't understand what I've done.
The S should have been the warning. Multiple of them.
Apparently.
Just
and so,
all of them.
Yeah, and I am after, a couple of years and building up a decent-ish kind of following, and now that doesn't exist anymore because I was trying to tell people that it's...
Educate people.
You know what you forgot is that someone in Ireland was really peeved because they have been calling it St. Patty's Day.
No,
and they
no,
said,
the-
no.
The Irish get it right.
No, but
it's the people
somebody
that-
in Ireland was wrong, but they thought they were right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, cue to Tom wearing his babushka outfit and going, bringing TikTok. I'm really annoyed at this video.
I'm
Oh,
sorry
dear.
to hear that.
Oh, well,
sorry.
what's funny is that I'm going to a marketing event later on in the year, and there will be a representative from TikTok there, so you can bet I'm going to be asking the question, like, what kind of AI slop is doing your review and appeal process?
TikTok's had a bad run at this lately anyway. I mean, for a long time.
But, I mean, a few months ago, and I was going to record something on it, basically anybody that had an account that was anything to do with liquor. So I don't think it was just spirits, but because most of the accounts that I follow are spirits based, and Facebook said, we're going to start restricting your reach. And everybody that was, distillers, bartenders, brand reps, all of people were commenting on each other's videos to say, hey, did you get this notice? And yep, everybody had. And it turns out that, and Facebook said, oh, yep, we're going to start restricting your views because you're promoting a harmful substance. And then a couple of weeks later, Facebook reversed it. But definitely it's a reminder that even though it is quote unquote your account, anything can happen at any time and you can lose all of your videos and you do not own them.
No.
Yeah.
No, I only had that happen once. No, a few times. I guess when I was promoting bottles of alcohol.
Right.
Those ones were more likely to get flagged, right? But on my account where I was just talking about distilling, and even if I talked about whiskey and openly talking about what the spirit was, never once did I have a violation on the Herrick Creek account. So quite interesting. But it was just when on the other account when I was showing bottles, those ones would get flagged quite easily.
Now,
but even those ones I could appeal, and usually they would get back on. So
and see that's so in this one I don't even say the word whiskey. I did have a bottle of Irish whiskey in my hand,
but barely too. I remember, when you showed it to me.
But
like you don't really show it like full fledged or anything.
I do not say the word whiskey or spirit or anything like that.
Do not even take gratuitous drinks out of it.
No,
as you're talking.
Yeah,
and that's if it was something along those kinds of lines, I'd go like, okay, I don't agree with you, but I understand. I legitimately do not understand. So if you have a representative at TikTok who can explain to me why my video was so egregious, then let me know, because I'm in the dark.
To our future AI overlords who are scanning our videos, we bow down. We are sorry. We accept your rule, and we don't drink alcohol now because I'm sure you've told us not to.
My meth channel's doing really well.
Breaking Bad with Ty.
Breaking beige.
That being said, I have no idea how the internet or any of those things work, and it's willful ignorance, and I am quite happy with my stone tablets, thank you very much. They haven't been taken by anyone. They're too heavy to lift.
Don't forget your gold's never safe either, though.
I haven't even got that far yet.
Haven't fallen down that rabbit hole. All right, what's on your list there, Tom?
Well, okay, so here's what happened. I started making a list of what was new and exciting, and I just started noticing as well how little of it we've actually tried, because there's a few around. But here's the big issue, is that the pricing on them is quite extraordinary.
Okay.
Extraordinary, if you will, if I can really enunciate it. But two of them in front of us here today. We've got the Reefton Gold Seeker Rye. I haven't even cracked the cork. I've had it for a while.
Boy.
I've got bottle 25, is it? Is that what it says?
25?
Yeah, 25. Look at that. You've got the Divergence Sloe Gin Finished Whiskey.
Yes.
Which is always exciting. It's usually an annual release from them.
Correct. And, I mean, I remember... how many batches? I couldn't tell you how many batches now, but from the very first time I tried it, from the very first release, I've loved it. I've just thought that it's big, it's bold, it's punchy, it's got a whole lot of flavour. This is now Divergence's oldest release at 7 years.
Wow.
And it is just...
It's dark.
it is incredibly dark there.
Just going off what we said in the previous podcast about being old, I was looking at that going, 2017, that's not that old.
That's not that long ago.
No.
Yeah.
Nearly 10 years.
That's the pre-pandemic times.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. So
63.5%.
63.5%. Distilled September 2017, bottled August of 2025. This is fantastic.
Wow,
It's a
that's
relic
really cool.
from a distant age.
As I wrote this list, I mean, there's a few trends that come up, and actually, a lot of this is older whiskey stock, which is quite surprising because we've talked for a long time about how New Zealand whiskey is usually younger, know, in that 3 to 5 year old, but a lot of these are actually 5, 7, 8 years old. Like there's a 8 to 9 year old in Ald, which is incredible.
Wow.
Cardrona is sitting at 7 years old right now. I did try their 10-year-old release, which it was just their original barrel, which you could only try just while you're at the shows and stuff. But we're getting to that age now where New Zealand whiskey is actually coming of age, if you will, which is quite interesting. The Reefton Gold Seeker Rye here, it kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, it just sort of showed up. They sent us an email one day, and it was like $125 for this rye, which I think is also 58.8%. I thought, gosh, that's not a bad price, really. But I didn't even know they were making a rye. But we have no idea what's in it. Is it 1% rye? Is it 100% rye? I have no idea. I've tried to find out. I still have no idea. So if you work at Reefton, if you know what's going on with the rye here, we'd love to know what the mash bill is, because it's ex-bourbon cask. We know that, but that's all we know.
I also want to do a plug for the Divergence Society, because I got so it says the email that I got says that the Sloe gin barrel finish would normally be 180, but if you were a member of the society, that you could pre-order it for 160. I think 160 for a bottle of very, very tasty, but also very, very high proof whiskey at 63.5%. I think that works out okay. Yes, it is pricey.
I'll be honest, it's not. In New Zealand whiskey, it's not.
I would struggle to pay 180. As much as I love it, I would struggle to pay 180. 160 is still a lot, but because I love that, I'm willing to splash out and get that one bottle. But that is another reason to join the society, because you'll get that. Also, because I pre-ordered it, and I wanted to share this with you, because I don't know what's going on here, they've sent out this little sample bottle for society members who pre-ordered. It started, I'm reading from the email here, it started as a non-peated malt matured for 5 years in a 50-litre French oak barrel. Then we distilled it again, brackets, don't ask why.
Okay.
Which is weird. So they've called this a single malt white whiskey, which I'm guessing you couldn't really call it a whiskey if you have distilled it again after aging?
I think because they're not calling it a New Zealand whiskey, right? That they've bypassed that. Oh, it does say New Zealand whiskey on there, but I guess it's a sample. It's a sample.
Well, I mean, that's
it's a part of the logo.
That's a part of their logo.
Yeah, but it has been aged.
But it's I know. Now it starts to get grey. Yeah.
So I have not opened this. I feel like let's dive in here, because this is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not something that is available for sale on their website. Other society members will have tried some, but I figured, well, I'm going to hold on to this and share this with you, because I don't know what to make of it. I have no other information other than what they included in their email here. The result is something unusual, a completely clear whiskey. We're curious what you think. So let's let them know what we think.
Absolutely. This is, I have heard of one other distillery doing something like this, but it was the Whiskey Tribe, which I talk about sometimes. Of course, they're in Texas. They run Crowded Barrel whiskey. And I think, I can't remember what they had done exactly, but it was some sort of very old aged whiskey that they had decided to redistill as well, to see what it did. So
it is 42%.
But I think if you handed to me this blind, I wouldn't know maybe that this was white.
Yeah, French oak. I get some of the vanillins from a French oak barrel.
Yeah, yeah. I think what it's lacked is well, maybe not lacked is the word. It doesn't have the same mouthfeel that it has when it's French oak aged, but like the taste is there though. The flavor of the French oak is there, which is interesting.
It's been taken away somewhat, but it's more just missing the mouthfeel.
It's drier. That's the word I'm looking for. It's like it's not as oily, but it's drier. If that's what I'm getting. But I still get the French oak influence, like 100%. It's there.
I know they've said don't ask why, and so I'm not asking, but as a distiller, for you to redistill something that had been aging in a barrel for what they've said here, it's a 5-year-old, so that they can sell that as whiskey.
Yeah.
I mean...
I would have to think it was over-oaked, potentially.
Yeah, something has gone wrong.
Yeah, something's gone wrong, but my only guess is that it would be over-oaked, and there was too much tannin, maybe.
Right.
And redistilling it, if it's still giving us this much French oak influence after distillation, it must have been over-oaked. Because this is actually this isn't too bad, right? Like, this tastes great. And if I didn't know it was clear, I would guess it wasn't clear, for sure.
Definitely opens up a bit if you put
a bit of water, yeah.
So you'd say it was a younger whiskey. You'd say that it was less than 5 if you were doing this blind.
Yeah. But I would think it was a dark, barrel aged whiskey. But that's quite incredible how it still comes through all that influence. 42% ABV I can see on there. So
yeah, it's got that richness to it as well.
Yeah, it's just a bit. It doesn't have the oiliness that would come straight out of the barrel for sure, but the flavors of it, they're all there. Interesting. I've got to guess it's over-oaked. That was the problem.
That's
totally a guess, everyone. It's just a guess. Okay, don't take my word for it.
I don't think, again, just speculation here. I don't think that this is going to be a product that they bottle and sell, because you would then have to explain to people the process. Oh, hang on, you're saying that it's a...
If you tell me don't ask, I'm going to ask.
Yeah. So it was aged in a barrel, but now it's clear, and you... but if you are just including, hey, pre-order now, and you're going to get a fun wee sample, great. Mm-hmm. I feel like you've gotten a wee bit extra for... Yeah. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you for sharing that with us.
White Whiskey Angel's Share from Divergence. But if you want to dive into... I tell you what, this would be...
I think we should hold on to that one still.
Sure.
It's a pretty... From previous releases, we know it's a lot of flavor.
Oh, yes.
So let's hang on to that for a second.
Okay.
I would like to pull out one of mine, if we can. Because I've brought you guys a special undone sample yet, and this is my usquebaugh, which is... we've discussed maybe previously about Ald Distillery does it down in Southland. They make an usquebaugh. This is not something I made, though. It's from Juniper Distillery. And you remember Sean Juniper,
yes.
ran in Rangiora. His son contacted me after he passed and asked if I would do something with it as the last batch of it. So a few years ago, when that happened, we picked it up. We put it into a barrel.
Now, wasn't that a beer that he had distilled? Is that...
So it's a stout? Exactly,
right,
yeah.
That's right.
So it's a stout mash build-out. It wasn't just like an old stout that he had laying around.
Okay.
You can have some more. Here you
Thank
go.
You. So you've aged that.
So this has been aging in a larger cask. That's all I've done to it. But the difference between the old one is saffron and honey, I think, for their spices. This one is cardamom, and I don't think there's anything else in it as far as the spicing goes. So usquebaugh, typically this was like an early whiskey. It was white whiskey that was spiced, to give it some different flavors. This was kind of pre-barrel aging before whiskey distillers knew what they were doing in that regard. So the word whiskey does come from the word usquebaugh.
Water of life.
That's it. we just thought, Sean's son, he thought this exact same thing. Let's put it into a barrel. Let's see what it does, And so it's got a bit of color now on it. It's a pretty used barrel at this point, so it's a very light color.
Very pale, pale straw, kind of yellow.
Yeah. And I will be releasing this soon because actually, I've had a few samples of this now, and I'm really enjoying it. I've sort of tried to talk myself out of bottling it almost, just because I don't know, it's a new flavor profile for me. But then every time I try it, I sit and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm actually really enjoying this. So I would love to know what you guys think. Honest thoughts,
Yeah, no, you did.
Now, this is barrel strength. I actually don't know the percentage, but I imagine it's around 50 some odd percent.
Okay.
Well, here's to Sean Juniper.
Mm-hmm. And what I love about it, and personally, is you get this dark richness from that stout base. And then there's that bit of spice, that cardamom spice that sort of hits you on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Sweetness. It's oily. And it doesn't taste terribly strong either.
No. It's also, like, you can imagine Rob Roy sitting around a fire in the Highlands drinking something like this. This is almost as close to the original usquebaugh as you could get.
Yeah, Dave Broom made a documentary, I think, called Water of Life, and looks at some of the early, really early distillation in Scotland. And as you say, this is spirit that would have been drunk hot from the still, and they're mixing in some herbs and some other bits and pieces to give it a bit of flavour to cover up the fact that it is harsh.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is really... Yeah, the cardamom, there's something almost chocolatey on the nose, a little bit. Not a rich chocolate. So you're thinking that you are going to bottle this as a product?
Yeah. It'll be just a limited release, probably at cask strength as is, like this. Because I'm really enjoying it. I'm actually finding that I kind of want to keep going back to the barrel and trying it some more. So yeah, I need a bottle at home soon.
Now, just explain why you're not calling it whiskey, why you can't call it whiskey.
Well, actually, in this case, I could, because we've reached the aging requirement. I think the only problem that with calling it whiskey would be that it's had an addition to it, which would be the cardamom, the spicing,
okay. Right.
Which I'm not. It's probably there's probably something in the rules that say we can't do that, but that would be the only thing at this point from disqualifying it as a New Zealand whiskey. Because it has been aged at this point. It is made from grain. It's a whiskey. But typically, it's just the unaged version of it. And being a traditional recipe with the spicing, that's what sort of makes it an usquebaugh, right?
Remember our conversation around the Glenmorangie Fruit of the Forest or whatever, and how they were adding...
Like gin botanicals almost.
But absolute botanicals. So it's... When did you add this cardamom? Was it?
So I didn't add it, but of course the junipers, they would have added it. I think it's post distillation, or it might have been in the column during distillation.
Right.
I'm a bit fuzzy on that.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was clear when it came to me, so it's not like it was.
Yes. I would have bought some. And clear distilled stout.
Yeah. Sean, I remember Sean had brought me some a long time ago at the market to try, and I loved it. Sean, he was a really good distiller. He had some really great ideas for all his gins and whatnot. So, but this, I think it's worked really well with the barrel. It's just kind of rounded it out a bit. It's taken off any sort of harshness that would have been there. It's just totally gone. I think it's an easy drinker. It's a little bit sweet. That's where I'm at with it.
Nice.
Now, let's talk about this Reefton one in front of us, because this, as I said before, it's a rye. There might still be some available. I'm not actually 100% sure. $125 for a full-size bottle at 58.8%, I think is a really good buy. It's not that old, clearly, but we don't know of the age. It's ex-bourbon cask. They've called it a New Zealand rye whiskey, so I'm assuming it's at least 50% rye, I think. That's going to be my assumption. Because if it's not 50% rye, I don't know if they should be calling it that. Okay. But they're pretty good with that sort of stuff, usually. Beautiful label and whatnot.
Beautiful. Embossed, running my finger over there. The lettering's raised.
Yeah.
It's, lovely label.
Now, at the same time, we've had the new Pioneer release, single malt release from Reefton, which they did a ballot for. They still got whiskey left of that. It's $390 for a 3-year-old. Few reviews have been really good. People have enjoyed it. The bottles look amazing. We haven't tried it.
What did we try at Dramfest last year?
We tried like a 1 and a bit year old, I feel.
Right.
Version of it, because we had the ex-bourbon and there was a wine cask version, I think, of it as well. But it was only about half aged, is what he was telling us at the time.
I remember Big Hit of Banana.
Was it? Yeah, it was, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really nice. Yeah.
It was. But it gets... I mean, you don't want to be rude, but at some point you do have to... And look, you can price it at $390 a bottle, and there will be people that will pay for that.
Yeah.
They want to be the one to have that first batch.
Yeah.
And you certainly look at what Reefton is doing over on the West Coast, and fantastic. A great distillery, a great story, and what they're trying to do is fantastic. But, yeah, you can't really go to people and say, all right, well... back cost that, and how are you charging that much for a bottle? Because that's certainly not that's not something that you are casually buying to share with friends. You are making a serious investment in that kind of money.
Absolutely, like that's a lot of money, and they are doing things really properly over there. Obviously, they've got the backing of the Scotch Whisky Society, I think, to do some sort of bottling for them or something in the future. I think Patsy she's actually Patsy, who's been leading, has stepped down recently, and they've got a new CEO as well, so they're going to have a new maybe direction. We'll see. But they've been putting down a lot of casks now for quite a few years of their single malt. So it'll be exciting to see what comes after Pioneer. Is they're going to keep that $400 price tag, or is it going to go down? But it is available right now if you want to go grab a bottle to see what the first release is.
Their gin is exceptional.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You can't fault it, The new stills look amazing. They've got a really good operation, and they've brought in the distillers from Scotland, So, like, these are people who know what they're doing, It's not just some random guy from Scotland, mind you. It's also...
just pulling a Scotsman off the street. Oi, you, Jimmy.
You know what you're doing, right?
Yeah, we Jock McNevis.
I can't remember your name. Sorry, guys. It's been a while. But this sort of led me into what's new in New Zealand spirits. And, of course, we have recently also had the Waiheke Heart of Gold release, which was sounded so cool. Triple distilled, peated whiskey, single malt, with peat, New Zealand peat. And I was like, wow, that sounds amazing. The bottle was blacked out. It looks really cool. Also, $400, unfortunately.
Which is in line with some of Waiheke's other, if you're looking at Cantankerous, if you're looking at some of their top releases.
Bog Monster was up there too.
Bog Monster. Yeah. Which, again, Cantankerous and Bog Monster are phenomenal.
So good.
And if you get a chance to try them at a Dramfest or festival or something else, my goodness, do it.
Yeah.
But at those prices, it's not something that I'm going to buy every other week.
No. Now we're talking CEO top shelf whiskey,
Yeah, not something you buy to share with friends, because you are not sharing with friends. The precious.
That's your precious.
So that Heart of Gold, that was a 5-year-old as well, so a little bit older. I know we don't typically like to judge things based on age, but now because New Zealand whiskey's actually starting to figure out age groups, we can start to compare these things, right? Mm-hmm. So a 3-year-old from Reefton is $400. A 5-year-old from Waiheke is $400. Ald's 2017 barley, and they've got the wheat and oat versions as well. 8 to 9 years old, $350. Beautiful bottles again. We haven't tried them. Mm-hmm. No idea what it tastes like, but I'm sure it's great. Cardrona, $400 again for all their versions. They're all about 7 years old. So we've got a bit of a trend going on $400 very premium whiskeys in New Zealand going, and I just don't. I know there's a demographic who's buying them for sure, that they have to have that, right? But it's not going to be for your average whiskey drinker, unfortunately.
It's not. I guess if we are looking at Waiheke, yes, they have the $400 a bottle absolute premium, but you can get Ceres 2 for just under 200.
Yeah.
You're coming down again and you've got something like Fairlight.
Yeah, 120. Yeah.
So they have a range where it all comes down to that purchasing power, and we keep getting told that you want to support local. I would love to be supporting local. If you're someone like Old or Cadrona, where your only option for supporting them is $200, $300 plus, they don't have the same kind of entry-level range.
Yeah.
Where if you are looking at, and I'm just going to pick some random whiskey distilleries here, the likes of a Lefroy or something like that.
Yeah.
They've got an $80 bottle.
Yeah.
And if you, they've also got a $380 bottle.
Yeah.
And they've got something so that they can bring you in and then a range that you can buy. We can go Divergence again.
Yep.
If you are buying their Pinot Noir barrel for
$80 even, I think. 80,
yeah.
$90, yeah.
Around, okay,
Yeah.
under that $100 range.
Yeah.
Then coming up to the 7-year cask strength experimental project.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not, both for price point and for flavour, it is not an entry-level whiskey.
No.
This is for the fans. And that's great.
Yeah. But to me, that flavor and profile lends to that $400 probably category that the other ones are going to. You know, they could sell that for $400 if they wanted to.
I would not be buying it
But
at
that's it. We wouldn't be
$400.
buying it, you know?
You
So,
know.
yeah.
And when everything else is stretched as it is,
Yeah.
I know that I have to make a conscious decision, like how I'm managing my budget,
Yeah.
to buy something that's 160
Yeah.
for pre-order in the society, join the society, as opposed to if you're just walking into a shelf and seeing that for 180
Yeah.
regular retail price.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be doing my job as your bootlegger if I didn't say your whiskies are top shelf at
We sell ours around $100, you know? Trying to keep it around
entry-level
there.
prices.
Yeah. Mine aren't that old either, though, to be fair. So that's...
Here at creek.co.nz.
Can we return to this rye?
Yeah.
It's if I'm keeping in mind other rye whiskies I've had, it's a very mild spice.
It
It's
is,
not
yeah.
coming out of the gate as a hugely fiery, spicy kind of rye. A very mild profile. Yes, yep, I can tell it's not a single malt. It is a rye whiskey. It's got
Yeah.
those nice baking spice kind of flavors
It
there.
does, yeah.
Wee bit of ginger, wee bit of sweetness,
Yeah.
but it's certainly not
58% too. I haven't added any water to mine, but actually it drinks beautifully.
Yeah.
50. I did add water to
You've
mine.
added yours, yeah.
I did both, and yeah, beautiful either way.
Yeah. It's actually really good. I mean,
Yeah.
I hope they kind of keep that around. That's a good. It's unique and it's not a bad drink at all.
No, it's lovely.
Yeah.
The only feedback I really have as a whiskey nerd is I want to know more about the rye.
Yeah, we want to know more, Reefton. Tell us what's the mash bill at least or something. I don't know. We know it's ex-bourbon. You can kind of taste that.
Yeah.
It's a light
that
color
sweetness.
anyway.
Which paddock in Darfield did you get this from?
We don't need to go that far either. That's all right, you know.
That might be much, but
I'm sure it is New Zealand grain, probably. I'm glad I got to share that first drink with you guys.
thanks, Tom.
That's lovely. Actually, I will enjoy the rest of that bottle on my own. It'll be gone tomorrow.
Precious!
Hashtag drink responsibly.
That's the only one I've bought, I think, all year, to be honest. That's my only whiskey I've bought all 2026 so far. I did want to also just kind of mention where we're sitting around pricing. I mean, Pocono also had their new Sauternes cask. You know that's a French Sauvignon, very sweet wine, right? Am I right on that? Is it kind of orangey? Am I kind of right to think that?
It depends on who makes it, but generally, yes.
Because we tried this. Do you remember, Cameron? We tried this at Dramfest.
The Sauterne.
It was under the table, and we asked Aaron.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and Aaron, and because when it came out, I was like, I think we tried this at Dramfest, and I'm pretty sure we did. And it was a little bit orangey. Yeah. So that's kind of right around that.
Yeah.
So $200, I think, for their single cask, really good Sauvignon Blanc. Like you had that Sauvignon Blanc one from them.
Yep.
Was it? Yeah, $200 again. I think that's a fair price for a single cask. Unique release. That Divergence sits in that kind of range as well.
They've also had another one. I was just looking at your sheet
Yeah.
and seeing that you didn't have it there. Alchemy that they brought out, which is part of their core range, 46%, and it has done so well. A global finalist at the World Whisky Awards, named one of the world's top 5 small batch whiskies, $150.
Compare like 100.
Yes, fully matured in 6 cask types, boldest, richest. So, yeah, it's always interesting when a distillery comes out and says, okay, we're going to, one, bring out something new, and unlike the Sauterne and the Sauvignon Blanc cask, say that we're going to make this part of our core range.
Yeah.
And at $150, 46% from one of New Zealand's leading... Again, that is middle of the pack, and I see how they've arrived at that. But I don't know. Do we just have to accept that in the world that we live in, where the cost of everything is going up, that this is where we are going to be sitting consistently from now on? If you want to support a New Zealand distillery, if you're buying a 700ml bottle, that 140 to 160 is just now you bite the bullet and that's what it costs.
See, I'm okay to accept $200 as our sort of premium whiskey category. I'm not willing to accept $400.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry to those who are listening that are pricing it that way. But I think $400 is ridiculous. I think it is. I think there are people who agree with me too. I understand, like, when you're on this side, when you're brewing it, when you're distilling it, it's worth $1,000 to you a bottle, okay? To you, it's pure liquid gold. And, like, if I could sell every bottle for $1,000, like, that's what it's worth to me. But, like, it's just not...
But also,
like,
you are primarily a one-man band, doing everything from grain to glass by yourselves, like you can see in the background, the fermenters. Whereas there's some that don't even do that themselves, and then they're running the distillery 24/7, except on Christmas, and they're filling multiple barrels a day, and they're still in that price range. It's like, where...
In New Zealand?
Well, Cardrona would be doing multiple barrels a day.
Okay,
you know?
yep, true.
And I remember talking to Joe once, and we talked about bottles and pricing and stuff at Waiheke, and she said, if I could price everyone at $700, I would, because that's what it's worth to us, like, and I get that, I do get that. To me, it's the same thing. It's worth so much more to me. The amount of time and love and energy that goes into every single bottle for whiskey to make it here at the bottom of the world. It's just so much, But at the end of the day, we're not at that point, We're not at that point in New Zealand whiskey where I think we can call a $400 bottle of whiskey an everyday purchase for sure.
No.
Particularly when you can get just as good, if not better ones, for a fraction of the price in the New Zealand whiskey scene.
And I think if you're going to ask $400 a bottle, you've got to frame it differently, as you are coming in to support us. You are buying in as a supporter more than as a just here's your bottle of whiskey. I'm not saying you're buying into the distillery. I'm saying, like, support us in our very first release of $400. You're really helping us push for our next releases. Reefton hasn't really said that. They're just saying, this is our first release. Yay, here's our whiskey. It's $400. It's only 3 years old. Like, I know you guys have done things right. I know it's good whiskey. I'm still not going to spend $400 on it. Even if I had $400 to spend on whiskey, I don't know that I would. I'm sorry. That's where I hit. And I don't know about you guys, but that's where I hit. And I'd love to hear your opinion.
I mean, I love going into Whiskey Galore and looking at the top shelf and going, $38,000 a bottle. Mere pittance, I'll have 3.
I've said that if I won Lotto and won one of those kind of multi-million, I would love to walk into Whiskey Galore and point up at one of those bottles that is $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a bottle and say, I'll have that one, thanks, and then pay for it, and in the middle of the floor, crack the top and just neck it for the look on their face. Because I think that would just, if you had millions and millions of dollars and money wasn't an object, just for the look on their face, just see, that's a personal dream of mine.
As Cameron walks in with his blazer made out of $100 bills.
Clearly I do not have that purchasing power. I'm not there yet, but that remains a pipe dream.
Driving around in the Batmobile with bills flying.
But
I love that dream. It's beautiful.
Just to tip everything on its head of like, oh yes, this is a collector's piece and only 4 were ever made, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, crack, glug, glug, glug. Oh, not too bad.
Now there's only 3.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I I know what you mean. It would be great to do that. But I do think like we've got really good choices around that $200 premium range already. Like you go to Y2E or Kiwi Spirits Distillery, $200 for their Y2E 8-year-old whiskey is an amazing whiskey. For $200, I will pay that. It is good whiskey. The Poconos at $200. If I was really into it at that day, and I really did want to try it, I'll buy the $200 Sotanus cask. But you've got the choices as well to go down to the other ones. I did want to mention Scapegrace as well, because we don't really ever talk about them, but they are about to become a big player in this industry. They're still not really releasing too much, but like most of their releases are around that $90 range. They're the basic ones. They did do a recent one with American oak they called Ephemeral.
They do have very interesting naming. I think Vanguard is one of theirs.
Vanguard and stuff like that. That one came out at $200, so it's clearly a unique release for them. But that's a premium offering from them. And even other ones, 1919, their whole range was around $120.
Sorry, just to jump back to Pocono, what are their native timber cask ones retailing?
The 200, I think the Totara cask. Yeah, that was around 200.
Because we're all massive New Zealand history nerds, and like for us having things made out of Totara or
and we tried that. That was fantastic. That was a really good. It was worth trying. It was unique. New Zealand Whiskey Collection. I can never go without mentioning them because they're always really good, affordable whiskey.
Oh, absolutely.
Usually, if they do a premium release, it's sub $200 anyway.
They are smaller bottles,
but they're really good and always worth the price. For their own stuff, the older stock, it's up to you how you value that. But for their newer stuff,
check there. The Totara cask, $250.
$250. Yeah, that's probably their most expensive one, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then going to something like their winter malt, which is phenomenal, 190 there, 189. Or their triple distilled.
This is the Pocono stuff. Yeah.
169.
Those are all really good too. Sub 200.
Fantastic. The Totara cask, just trying to get Totara that is actually seasoned well enough to make a barrel out of would be damn near impossible. So
a lot of skill went into it.
Absolutely. Pocono, like I was saying, most of their standard range is in that 100 to 120 anyway. Their 3 Origin and Discovery and Revelation, I think. 120 max. Thompson, they've got their two-tone sitting around 90, which is a mix of import and their own. But their other ones are sitting around $140, $150 usually. They do have a premium range as well, but that's still under $200 from Thompson. And Divergence, of course, usually their regular stuff 120.
I mean, how do you compare the likes of Pocono, which as a big operation, a really big operation, the fact that they are exporting to the US, that they're making enough that they can supply the New Zealand market, and they're trying to break into international markets, and trying to compare them to the likes of a Thompson or a Divergence, like the size and scale, we're talking vastly different size and scale.
Huge difference.
I would say that Pocono they've clearly got some kind of efficiencies of scale that they can have a core range of 3 bottles at around about that $100 a bottle, give or take. I guess that comes back to what I was saying before about how if you're going to have a luxury $200, $300 a bottle kind of range, great, but offer something for like enthusiasts or people that want to support a New Zealand distillery and are curious. You don't buy a bottle for $390 because you're curious.
Well,
No, exactly.
Aside from going to a one of your events,
Right.
how do you expect people to get into whiskey if that's the price you're charging, especially New Zealand whiskey?
And occasionally, I have poured the Tortora cask at one of my events. That was at one that we were looking at weird and wonderful barrels that distilleries had aged their whiskey in. But I know for a fact that I would have to substantially raise the price of admission for my events if I'm buying bottles that are $200, $300. I can't do what I do at the price point that I want to enter the market in. I can't do that and buy those bottles as well.
But especially for people who are just, say, you're Gen Z, you want to get into whiskey. How can you afford to pay that much to get into you want to get into New Zealand whiskey?
Yep.
How can you afford to pay that much to kind of explore the market, to see what is what?
That's it. You're not buying that because you're curious, want to find out more. Oh, when you walk in, think, oh yeah, I'll give that a try. Like, that's not a casual purchase.
No.
I don't know why I use Gen Z as an example, because we're all parents and we're just like, we can't afford most of these things.
We're all
even the
millennials
cheap
and we're
ones.
still in there. So,
We are millennials.
but I just think, to see this on paper, I did go through just about everything I could think of, every brand, but there's definitely a clear mark. There's that $100 range. There's $150. There's $200. And then there's like $400, And I see where that $400 range is aiming at a totally different demographic. I get
Correct.
that.
What are some of the reasons that something would be priced there?
Okay.
In your experience.
I think it's just all about operating costs. At the end of the day, you've worked for years at something. You've bought barrels, you've bought stills, you've paid staff, you've paid all your excise, blah, blah, blah. You're sitting at a huge loss, really. Let's just be honest. You start a business, you usually start in a loss. How am I going to start to recoup this stuff, And when you start to look at, okay, I've got the stock aging. Oh, I'm losing 20% of stock, maybe every 2 years, potentially, which is pretty normal in New Zealand.
Angel share.
I've got to up the price. Okay, suddenly, the cost isn't necessarily the grain. The grain is probably the cheapest part of the process. It's going to be your staff, your taxes, your barrels, especially getting them down here to New Zealand is insane, to get a barrel. Like, you're talking $1,000 a barrel for a used barrel usually.
Right.
And that's not uncommon. And we don't get them collapsed, on a pallet like the Americans get them from Scotland, and then they re-put them. Sorry, the Scottish get them from America as collapsed pallets, and then they re-put them together with the Coopers. We don't have Coopers. We got one in Pocono. That's it. So we get them as full barrels. So you might get a certain number per container. That container costs money. Everything's going up.
You're shipping air because
You're
they're
shipping air, exactly. Yeah. So there's a huge cost pre even filling the barrel, and then you've got to sit on it for at least. Well, our lowest one here is 3 years old, right? It's a huge cost.
Well, not only
right?
that, they're an odd shape as well, so you can't even cram them. They don't
No.
neatly stack or anything.
No,
They're
they
just-
bulge in the middle.
Yeah. So it's all these costs, and it's how am I going to start recouping this cost after years and years and years of pre-investment? And of course, we've got gin, and we've got all these things that usually these distilleries will be working on beforehand. But there's just a huge amount of cost involved. But at the end of the day, you've got to look at those costs before you get to there. You should be looking at this 5-10 years ahead of time as what you're going to be pricing it as, and know what the costs are,
And if we jump back to the Divergence Sloe gin barrel, this is a 7-year, this is the oldest whiskey that they have released. That's real estate in their storage space that is sitting there. When I first bought this as their first release, and I'm going off memory, so I'm totally willing to be corrected, and we're going back 5 years maybe, I would hazard a guess and say that I paid about $150.
Yeah.
And now, obviously inflation, everything goes up. It's and also I have to say it's not the same whiskey. It's it has been kind of sitting there. It has been aging, but 150 becomes 160, 170. How trying to account for inflation and everything else that's going on.
That's not bad though, really. I
No.
mean, to go from 150 to you paid 160. That's not bad. Like, I know it's 180.
Well, I paid 160 because I'm in the.
I know, because you're in the club. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Another quick plug. Do you reckon there is room to be able to do a class on higher price New Zealand whiskies? Like, say your normal event is 65 at Smoke and Barrel, and that includes dinner. Well worth it if you haven't already been.
You are a big champion of those. I do appreciate that, Ty. Thank you.
Tom should come to more.
I should.
That is a really interesting point.
But hold on, let's do the math. I'm going to do the math here. So you got $400 whiskeys times 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say you do 4 of them.
Okay, yeah.
And then 2 cheaper ones. Okay. Let's
Well,
just do that.
I think even if it was just a tasting of 4.
Okay, let's say it's 4.
Yep.
Okay. How many people come to your tastings usually? 20 people? 30 people?
Sold out is 35.
Okay. Let's assume...
But let's say 20. 18. 18
let's
or 20.
say 20. That's $80 just on costs for the bottles a person. $80 cost per person.
And Smoke and Barrel is going to want at least, let's say, $40 to provide.
So now you're sitting at $120 cost per ticket. And then you've got to make some money.
And because I'm going down there, I'm setting everything up, I am researching everything. I would like to take some money home at the end of the day.
Cameron, do it for the love of it.
We'll do it for the exposure.
Well, you're not on TikTok anymore.
No, I'm not getting exposure there. And also when I do champion New Zealand distilleries, I'm still buying the bottle from them.
Yeah,
I'm not.
You don't get your wholesale usually.
Sometimes I would get wholesale pricing, but not always.
Yeah.
But again, I'm still paying for it.
Yeah.
They're not giving it to me for the love of the game,
No.
and I wouldn't expect them to.
No.
Please get Cameron some whiskey.
That wasn't what I was angling at.
No.
But okay, so 4 whiskies, 120 cost. I want to make something as well. So we're still. Would people pay 160? Let's call it $160 a ticket to know that you're still getting the amazing food that you would get from Smoke and Barrel. And if you knew going in that your lineup included Reefton Pioneer and
Heart of Gold,
Waiheke Heart of Gold,
one of the olds, one of the Cardronas,
and throw in a bog monster or something along those kinds of lines.
I mean, I would be keen for a one-off thing. I wouldn't do it every time.
No,
but for a one-off, I'd be like, I'm in for it because you're giving me something I'm not going to buy usually.
And I think that would also, so typically ahead of an event, I'll give a theme and I'll tell you that what it is that we're doing. I have just booked some events and I'm going with. It's going to be called Unusual Neighbours, and I'm going to tell you that you are going to try whiskey from countries that you did not know were making whiskey.
Oh, I like that, yeah.
So there will be no Scotch, there will be no New Zealand, there won't even be any Irish, because you know that the Irish make whiskey. No, I am talking about countries that when I tell you, there's a whiskey being made here, you'll go, oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
I like
Eritrea.
So
I'm really looking forward to trying the new Nigerian whiskey.
So typically I wouldn't tell you what it is that I've got, because I don't want people looking at a lineup and going, I've tried that before. I've had people that have come to events and they've still said, I have tried that one already, but seeing the pictures, hearing the story, like, I've got something new out of it, that's great. I feel if I'm charging $160 a ticket, I have to tell people what that lineup is.
Okay, sorry, Tom's our resident expert on Nigerian whiskey, so he's tried all of them.
From that wonderful Lagos distillery there.
Sierra Leone. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, Peruvian whiskey. Yeah. Hey, I'd be keen. I would love it. Yeah. No, look, I would be keen. If you told us a one-off one, I might use a Prezi card to be fair, but I will come.
Right.
It sounds fun. Yeah.
Okay, I will take that under advisement as
two people who you might get to come.
If I sell 2
I'm not
tickets.
giving you a signature yet, to be honest.
Yeah.
I got to beg for my Christmas gifts early, but I'll be keen.
Sorry, Elizabeth, this is your inheritance I'm spending right now.
Remember, at the end of it, sometimes
Daddy still loves you.
you need to start an infinity bottle. We've talked about infinity bottles.
Mm-hmm.
You need to start one because at the end of I usually take what's left over and put it in my infinity bottle. And you never know what's going to be left, And then I write it down so that she knows Isla one day is going to look back and say, wow, Daddy went and spent all my money on this whiskey, and I get to taste it now. Kind
and
of.
it's...
Oh, dear.
I'm just joking.
You know how you said about having too much ullage in the top of bottles? That's what his infinity bottle's doing.
Right, shall we close it out of here with a wee nip of...
I totally forgot. Yeah, we hadn't tried that yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely, let's do it. But I think we've hit the premium number. Has got to be 200 people. Like, I think if you've got an opinion on this, I'd love to know, because to me, I think $200 for a premium whiskey, even a Scotch. I'm not paying $200 for a Scotch unless it's something really good, unique, And I can't count. I can't even think of one time I've spent money on a $200 Scotch, to be honest. Never. Have I?
That cask strength 10-year-old Lafroig. What would that go
Nope,
for?
that was 150 at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, even that. Cask strength 10-year-old Lafroig.
How much was the Finlagen?
That was.
Oh, no, yeah, Finlagen comes in...
under $100.
Yeah, because...
It's a good cheap one. Because it's
I was just thinking
because you don't know...
strength.
You don't know. Yeah, but you don't know the label. They're not selling on the label.
It's Kalila, I'm sure.
Yes, but it doesn't have that on the label.
It doesn't say that.
How good.
But I do love Kalila. So.
And I mean, here it is. Big, bold, jam.
On the nose, it's not as spicy as I remember necessarily.
Oh,
That's what I wanted to say. I'm personally am not a big fan of Bulgarian oak, and the last version of this, that Bulgarian oak came through a whole lot stronger, and I thought, it's all right. And then, this one, I feel like this version is better than the previous version.
Sorry. What are you thinking when you saw big?
I definitely just thought you were going for. I'm not a big fan of Bulgarians.
No,
I want another
was
war.
A lot more kosher. I was going to say, I'm not a big fan of Bulgarian whiskey, and I'm like, oh, he's playing his card for his strange name.
Yeah, like, for that all the time, I can't get enough Bulgarian whiskey. Yeah.
I think if you need Bulgarian whiskey, you're probably going to somebody's farmstead and begging them to go in their cellar, which they didn't declare.
But yes, so it does have some of that spice, but probably not as much as what previously.
I'm really getting the Sloe on the back palate there.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot of flavor. Holy smoke-a-roonies.
Oh, yeah. I will also... and people may look at me sideways for this. I made an old-fashioned with this.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a little bit of... I used chocolate bitters.
Oh, yeah.
And did I have a special... no, it might have just been regular...
the fruit flies are loving it.
So, yeah, a regular simple syrup. But I'll tell you what, as an old-fashioned, with and I used some chocolate bitters in there just to really amp that up. Yeah. My goodness. Yeah, that was a really slow sipper. It was delicious.
So when are we going around to Shea Cameron for cocktail night?
Yeah, you are really good at cocktails. That's
Well,
I always that's the problem. When I'm at an event and then people are like, "Oh, how do I drink this?" Even last night on Facebook, I had somebody ask me, "How do I drink the apple pie? Do I drink it straight?" I'm so bad at answering that question
You're
because I'm just
with a cup.
I usually open the lid and drink it. Sorry,
Yeah, stick in a straw at most.
I don't hate absolutely if you can mix it, go for it because I'm just not good at it. I'm just bad at it, and maybe that's why I learned to drink it straight. But yeah, you're really good at mixing the drinks properly. So
I think anybody who actually knows how to mix drinks would look at me and go,
"We don't have
"No."
a bartender for sure, but you could pass for maybe a."
I'm a home enthusiast, as in with most things.
You are the cocktail maker for the winter session.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Sad news, no winter session this year, by the way. It's not happening. Yeah, so I think they're too focused on the new stadium, which opened this weekend, by the way. Very exciting, but not happening this year.
Sorry, guys.
But yeah, I mean, I love this one. I always go for it, and because it's so big and so bold, and I'm saying this nicely, it's not one that you will drink a whole lot of.
No,
because it is heaps, and there is heaps going on, and you can pour yourself a wee bit, and you can sit there and sip and nose and go back to, and you can spend a whole lot of time loving it without actually consuming heaps of it.
So rich.
Oh yeah.
Leather spice, I hate to admit it, but as a kid, I definitely have chewed on leather, and it's got that old barn leather to it, along with
the mental asylum with the leather strap. Yeah.
So I don't know if you can say that anymore, Jai.
It's I can't remember what the modern term is for it. Sorry, but
yeah.
It's got that, and it's got cinnamon and clove, and but I like it.
It's flavor ramped up.
Ramped up, yeah. You need to. I could probably throw an ice cube in a glass and let that just settle out, and then drink it really nicely. I think that'd be the way I'd go for it, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon with the chocolate bitters.
Oh yes, a little bit of simple syrup, large ice cube, chocolate bitters, and this was just that was all I had.
Yeah.
I had that one cocktail, and that one cocktail lasted me all evening. It was
wow,
delicious.
That's good.
Yeah,
good job.
And again, if we're coming back to, because that's been the theme of, if you're paying $160 for that, and you're
that's
drinking
totally
it
fair.
15 to 20 ml at a time.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair price.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
I just hope that they don't go the route of the ultra premium exclusive.
No, guys, don't do it. It doesn't need to be done.
Hate to not get it.
You would hate to lose a sleeve off your money jacket.
Well, no, here's the thing. At the end of the day, they're only going to charge as much as they can get for it. And if the whiskey sits there for too long and they can't sell it, the prices will come down. But as long as they're selling it, they will keep doing it. But it's different demographic. If you're going to Cardrona, in the middle of the Cardrona Valley with the stones and the river and the beauty of it all, yeah, you're probably in the romantic state of, I will spend $400 to remember this, maybe, If you're in Reefton and you're remembering the wild west coast and the smell of that, and they're, selling the dream of the wild water and whatnot, yeah, you might buy it there, maybe. At my home on my computer in Christchurch, I don't think I'm looking at my computer thinking, I am swimming in $400. I need that bottle.
You go into the bottle shop and you're thinking, what do I need for Saturday night?
Yeah, that's where we are. I would love to know what other people think. I would really. This is one of those times where I really, really want to know what other people think, where we sit on the pricing. Because even me at $100 range, I sell mine for $100 to $120-ish, up to $150 sometimes, even $100. I did do $200 for our red corn release, which was super unique.
Yes.
But I wouldn't go any higher than that. I thought $200 was a stretch, and it was a stretch. To be fair, it's a lot of money. I would love to know what other people think. That's all.
So how can they get in touch with their views?
Yes, so distilnationnz@gmail.com is our email address. That's a great way. You can check us out on distilnation.nz is our website. Unfortunately, you can't reach Cameron on TikTok anymore. Sorry.
Nope.
But you can always reach us on socials at Distil-Nation NZ as well, Facebook and Instagram.
Distil-Nation NZ on TikTok still exists.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Or come to one of his events.
Yeah, come see Cameron at Discovering
Come
Drams.
to the 106, the $200 event.
Which I will take under advisement. Yes.
Yeah, it's under advisement. It's a lot of investment for you.
Yeah.
You might need to pre-sell some tickets.
Yeah, but
Number.
boy, is it worth it.
Look, if you need to do a pre-sale, say we need to hit this number before we do this event.
to make it happen.
Yeah,
and
to make it
then-
happen, and then you can buy your bottles after that.
Here we go. This is
Yeah.
welcome to the boardroom planning.
Look, we're on board. We love it. We think it's great. We want to do more of them. So, and the other one with the round the world whiskey sounds really fun too. So, are you doing a Finland one like we've done?
No, I do not have Finland.
No Finland.
Kyrgyzstan?
So many options.
So many countries, so little time.
Thank you guys for
On that
listening.
note.
I hope you have a great week or day or whatever you're up to, and thank you so much for joining us.
Cheers.
Cheers.